Hey, welcome, guys. It's Bollox Talks and Tangents time. It's 6:34 on Thursday. That means we're ready to go. And I have a partner here with me who's a little bit feeling under the weather. Lenny, say hi the best way you can without scaring the children.
Hi the best way I can.
All right. That's as good as you're going to get out of Lenny. Listen to what I'm dealing with here. All right, so I got a Penn and Teller show today is what we're doing, but I don't do magic. You have all these amazing facts, and hopefully we can get them out. If we can't, you're writing me notes, and I'm dyslexic. So this should be really interesting, Lynn.
I'll write backwards.
Okay, well, that helps. That helps. As long as you get the first and the last letter right, I can read it. But if you mix those up, I'm in trouble. Everything else is fine. We got Blake in the booth today. Man, it was hot.
It was hot. It was bad. Like walking to and from work.
It was like when the back of your kneecaps sweat. Like I've been in Florida my entire life, all 54 years. And each year it feels like it's a little bit worse because I'm getting a little on the older side. I didn't know if you noticed that, Lynn. So, but when the back of your kneecaps sweat and you walk one block, you know it's hot and humid.
Yeah,
and Blake will vouch for me. I'm not a guy who sweats. I don't sweat.
You glow.
No. When you see me sweat, something really bad is going wrong in my life, or it's hot. And I don't mean hot. I mean like sitting on the sun hot. And it was sitting on the sun hot today. So that's enough about the weather report. So Lenny, how you feeling? Yeah. All right. Blake, you feeling good in the booth?
I am feeling great in the booth. But hey, you know what? Do you know what gets the thumbs up from us? Our great partners.
Yeah, we have amazing partners that we got to talk about. And our whiskey of the week is going to get us started off. We have a small batch, the Saint. The Saint from the St. Augustine Distillery is our whiskey of the week. We're trying to get Lenny back to health, so we're loading up. I was like, okay, what's the best whiskey to get you healthy? We're gonna bless you with the Saint Bourbon.
It's curative.
It's whatever he just said. I think it was curative or something. I'm not sure. So cheers to St. Augustine Distillery, Citygate Spirits. You guys are amazing. Let's tap it out for good health. There you go. Blake ooh, took a bigger swing than I wanted. I just did like a shot.
Now your throat's going to be burning.
Oh, feeling good. All right. Those guys are amazing over there. Check them out. Some of the best tasting tours around. All right. Meehan's Irish Pub. These guys it's the best bar. They have 3 bars in one. You got the outdoor, the backyard. Great people back there working. Just always taking good care of you. Amazing food. They have the indoor, the pub downstairs, and Johnny's Oyster Bar upstairs. Reggie does just such an amazing job, and his staff is, I don't know of a better bar staff that you could put together than what he's put together. It's an amazing team. All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, another amazing team. These guys brought a product to St. Augustine. I was like, how the heck is this going to work? And I'm telling you right now, it is a great experience. If you haven't experienced, you finally did go. You took your nephew. And where was your nephew from? He's from Florida. Okay. All right. We're doing sign language now. You don't adjust your sound. Lenny just can't talk right now. Don't look at the message Blake's sending to us in the booth there. Blake, you forgot your camera's on in there.
Yeah, no, there's no camera.
All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, they have over 800 artifacts there, original artifacts. Give them a chance. They're right there on Sponsor Row. Also on Sponsor Row, probably the best, I'm going to say the best place to have a cocktail and enjoy the sights of St. Augustine. The rooftop bar up there and overlook right there, River and Fort, is amazing. They have great wine selection, a great bourbon selection, amazing food, super appetizers. They have a separate menu up top, and just they did it right when they redid that location. They spent the money and did it right. River and Fort, just wonderful people. All right, the Roosevelt Room, one of our newer sponsors. They come on just last week. They have an amazing event space. They can hold up to 70 people there. You want to throw a private party, give them a call. But I'll tell you this, when I think of Roosevelt Room, it is to me the best. I'm a bully. No, bully, like bully. Okay, like bull. Roosevelt Room is to me the best breakfast in town. I don't know if you had a chance to have the breakfast there. Make sure you get down there and try that breakfast out. It is wonderful, wonderful breakfast at the Roosevelt Room. All right, next, Abare, Kresge and Associates. These are the guys that keep me out of trouble. They can keep you out of trouble. They can save you money on your taxes. If you're starting a new business, they can set up the LLC. They can do whatever you need to do. If you need some places to place your money, to protect your money, these are the guys to go talk to. They know their business. They've been around a long time. Not saying they're old, but, they're close to my age. All right, Coquina Coast Realty. I tell you what, this real estate company can do commercial real estate development, can help you through the government process, which, it's tough to speak governmentese. So, that's my company. Coquina Coast Realty. Give me a call at 904-669-7901. I do have some available downtown apartments right now for rent. Can't beat the location. Fully furnished, and it's going to be they're located on the same property with what is going to be the best restaurant in town, which is going to be Lotus Noodle Bar. So, all right, those are our amazing sponsors. Our whiskey of the week, like I said, is the Saint. We're trying to bless you back into health and all that. Because that's what we do.
All right. So that I need to ask, how bad's the Sharpie fumes in there? With Lenny writing down stuff all the time.
Oh, we got so much stuff written down here. I got notes around me. I got notes over here that I got from the Historic Society today. And I don't know, Lynn, do you ever get over this Historic Society, St. Augustine? Charles over there has so much knowledge, and when him and I get to talking, like everyone else in the room's like, you guys just shut up, But, it's so fun because we just go back and forth, and we'll go from topic to topic, and he was so helpful today on some of the history of education in St. Augustine. But we're going to start with word origins, and we're going to see if you can get this out, Lenny. That's a great start, Lenny. That's a great start. Give me, if you can get it out, give me your word origin of the day.
Close, but no cigar.
Your voice is close, but no cigar. All right. Let's hear it.
Carnival prizes used to be cigars.
Okay.
And if you got close to it, you didn't win. Uh-huh. So you were close, but you didn't get a cigar.
Oh, okay.
So that translates today to almost getting there.
You sound so painful. Put that lozenge in, would you? Because your voice is close, but no cigar. like
Exactly.
How bad does that sound?
We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose Blake.
All right. How bad does that sound? All right.
It's definitely very comedic. I bet a lot of people are laughing right now.
Oh, I think
it's definitely a pity laugh.
I think they're feeling sorry for him.
As long as it's with me, and it is at me, but that's okay.
All right. All right. If you guys would make sure you hit that share. I think I said that, but it always helps us out to hit that share button. And Blake, I signed up for Threads today.
Yeah, cool.
Did you see that? Do you even know what Threads are?
I do.
Okay. All right. So,
it's the anti-X.
Yeah. So, because, our guy Zuck is going to kick Elon Musk's ass.
Elon all of a sudden has MRI issues. He's creating a backstory to say, I can't do it.
Oh, the shoulder.
Whatever it is.
All right. Well, I think Elon was talking a lot, and he might have put the cart before the horse. The cart before the horse. All right. It goes back to the 16th century. And the first time they saw it in written form, and it was a common statement during the Renaissance, and it goes back to King Lear and Shakespeare's the first time that it was written. It was used pretty regular, but King Lear, Shakespeare is the first time it was in written form. And Blake, you know what putting the cart before the horse means, right?
No.
You don't know what it means?
No.
All right, so that means you kind of jumped the gun on some information.
What does jump the gun mean?
Jump the gun? You don't know what jump the gun means?
No, I'm joking. I don't know what that means.
Next week we'll do jump the gun,
I-
and it's going to say reference cart before the horse.
Right.
All right. So when you put the cart before the horse, that means say you start buying furniture before you close on a house. All right, and then the house doesn't close.
Right.
That means you put the cart before the horse. So, I didn't realize it was that old. I knew, it had been around my entire lifetime, and my grandfather said it a lot. Oh, there he goes again, putting the cart before the horse. Because when I played baseball, I was so cocky. I was like, oh, we're gonna win. He goes, they hadn't turned on the scoreboard yet. Don't put that cart before the horse. So that's what my papa would say.
Smart man.
Yep. So. And he wasn't a Southern. I made him sound like he was Southern. He was from Pennsylvania. So, what's your
I
first?
actually hold on here.
White elephant.
Well, wait. Blake's got one.
All right, here. Are you sure you want? Are you sure you want to go with yours? Okay. All right, go ahead. Go with yours.
So a white elephant.
That's a bad gift.
Right. And it's a gift that's either useless or way too expensive to maintain.
Yeah.
And it comes from Thailand, or actually Siam in the olden days.
Yeah.
And if you pissed off the king of Siam,
He'd send you a
he'd
white
give you a
elephant.
white elephant.
Yeah.
And you couldn't get rid of it. You couldn't re-gift it, and you had to feed it. And it ate like 400 pounds of food a day. It became a very expensive thing. So
And the king probably had punishment if you let the.
right. You don't re-gift the king's present.
Yeah.
So-
So white elephant. That's something you never really want to get.
No.
Okay. All right, Blake, what you got?
All right. So for my one, I went with the ball is in your court. So in this case, the ball is in my court to make sure Lenny sounds good.
Yeah, we're doing the best we can.
Yeah.
I don't know how successful you'll be.
He's a talented young man.
Yes.
I'll try my best. I'll probably use like one of like Clay's voice mods.
AI his voice in.
Yeah.
All right, the ball is in your court.
Yeah.
Where's that?
So of course it means like the responsibility has been passed on to you. So probably you've done that a lot during your Parks and Rec job.
Oh yeah, I had a lot of people that I put the ball in their court.
Yeah. So this came from the 12th century, and do you want to guess the sport it came from?
What is now current day soccer? Probably
No,
Tennis.
tennis.
it is tennis.
Tennis is that old?
Yeah. Like I
Yeah,
think
the French played it all the time.
Yeah, plus also like the King's Court, like like I think it was like King George the Fourth like had his own like private like tennis court, like not the modern tennis courts that we have. Like he had like his own like weird like court system.
I think the Tuileries used to be a tennis
Yeah.
court.
So he had a court at the Louvre Palace.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But of course it picked up steam again in 1960s because of tennis. Like so that's
The ball's in your court.
Yep.
Okay.
So that phrase got a lot more use in tennis, and now we use it for passing like responsibility onto other people.
Well, Blake, it takes a lot of balls to come up with that word origin.
But
Oh. So the ball is in our court now.
I'm being so good.
Yeah.
I'm being so good.
Well, you have to be. You have to be. All right, so we're talking universities, education. We kind of left this out there really broad. I didn't know which way you were going to go. I did some St. Augustine stuff. Like I said, I went to the Historic Society today.
Right.
I found about a university that was here that I didn't even know was here. It was here for about 7 years, 5 or 7 years. And I know the location of it now, which has now been torn down, but I didn't know it existed at that time. I found out about some local universities, and I found out some educational stuff. But the story I want to start off with is St. Augustine situation that took place in 1916. 1916. So, Blake, you have that image that you can put up?
yeah, give me a second.
All right. So in 1916, a group of nuns were called. They were called on the phone in 1916, and they were put on the phone, and they said, tomorrow you have to report to the police department.
Got the picture.
So, yeah, Sisters of St. Joseph.
All right.
All right.
All right. So I have it on screen right now.
And the Sisters of St. Joseph. And I'm going to read the law that went into effect 3 days earlier. All right? So, or 3 days, 3 years earlier. This was actual state law, and Blake's got it up on the screen right now. You guys can read along with it. You can probably read faster than I can. Chapter 6490, Laws of Florida, Act 1913, an act prohibiting white persons from teaching Negroes in Negro schools and prohibiting Negro teachers from teaching white children in white schools in the state of Florida and providing for the penalty therefor. It goes on to read, you can get penalized up to $500 or 6 months in jail. All right? And the act took place on June 7th, 1913. Now, the nuns have been teaching at St. Benedict's since 1866. All right? Right after the Civil War, the bishop here was a Frenchman. He brought over some other nuns, and they started teaching young black children in Lincolnville at St. Benedict's, which right now they're doing a whole fundraiser for St. Benedict's. Check out St. Benedict's and help out my friend TJ Thomas Jackson, doing an amazing job of getting a grant. They got a grant there, and they're working on it. But at St. Benedict's school is pretty much where education started in St. Augustine. Because prior to that, there wasn't, you know how they have the oldest schoolhouse and they date it back to 17 whatever it is? No, really, that's not really how it happened. Because of the nuns and what they were doing in the African American neighborhoods, kind of forced business owners and some of the other ones to actually create a local white school, even though it was a private school, where the schoolhouse is right now at Orange Street and at that end of St. George Street. But if it wasn't for the nuns of St. Joseph and I think his name is Verot, Verot.
Yeah.
Verot.
Exploded.
Yeah. That was the bishop at the time.
Right.
And he's the one who basically forced education in St. Augustine.
Yeah, he's the exploding bishop.
Yeah. So, but I kind of wanted the origin of St. Augustine and the education of how it kind of got started here, even though our first college didn't come into play until 1916 here.
Well, and the Lincolnville School was also very ahead of its time. You know.
At St. Benedict's?
No, actually in Lincolnville.
Excelsior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back over there, and the building's still there. It's now the Lincolnville Museum.
Yeah. Excelsior, the Excelsior High School. Yeah. But and that's when we were still doing Excelsior exists because of separate but equal, and a lot of those laws came out of
Plessy versus Ferguson.
Yeah. So and you have some of that.
Brown versus the vote of Ed. Yeah.
Brown versus that was 54.
52 it started.
52. Okay.
And then there was a subsequent one in 55 that said, you're not doing this well, so you now have to do it with all deliberate speed because everybody was slow playing the mingling, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you couldn't. Some of them couldn't afford the separate but equal in certain neighborhoods. So I mean, unfortunately, a lot of African Americans were getting schooled in what wasn't even school. It was after hours, or it was relied upon churches or people within the church to give the education.
Right.
Even though they said separate but equal, but no one lived up to that. So, all right. So where do you want to start with your universities? You want to stay in St. Augustine, or you want to?
Again, I did more national.
Okay.
I did the first couple of colleges and universities in the country, Harvard and William and Mary. I did sizes. I did rankings. What would you like to know?
All right. Let's talk about the chronological.
Okay.
All right. So we know Harvard was the first.
1636.
Yeah, 1636, and then the second one didn't come around for like another 60 years.
Yeah, and 1693 was William and Mary.
William and Mary.
Yeah.
So, what made Harvard? I mean, what was so special about Harvard that no one even competed with it, or was there so few people here that?
Oh, maybe then, because I'm still asking myself what makes Harvard so special.
Yeah.
Other than their ego.
Yeah. Well,
and their endowment.
Well, and I can tell you this: I played them in baseball. Yeah, good thing they're doctors and stuff because they're not a whole lot of baseball coming out of
Correct.
Harvard.
Well, in all fairness, the Ivy League can't give academic athletic scholarships.
Yeah, but they can compete in basketball.
Well, Princeton can.
Yeah, they much better
And-
than they can in baseball.
Big in ice hockey too. The Ivies.
Hockey. Football. No,
No.
they're like throw that spherical.
Right.
So
I got Ed Marinaro going for Cornell. That's it.
all right, and I went through a lot of the Ivy Leagues because a lot of those were original, like some of the earliest of schools. We talked about William and Mary. William and Mary. It's not an Ivy League school though, right?
No.
Not an Ivy League school, and it came in 1693 in Virginia, and it was on it was more of an agricultural school, and it was on 20,000 acres.
Yeah. Big place.
Flagler's on like 6 acres.
Yes, but it's beautiful.
Yeah. So all right. So the other one that a lot of people know is Princeton. You talked about Princeton.
Right.
So do you know the name of Princeton when it first came in 1747?
I did it once, but I don't.
Okay, it was New Light Presbyterian. And a lot of these universities were religious-based universities before they became more academia. So a lot of the origins of a lot of these came from there. Benjamin Franklin started a school in 1749. All right, and it drifted to the College of Philadelphia, and in which later became
University of Pennsylvania.
Penn, yeah, University of Pennsylvania. Rhode Island College came into play in 1764, which later became
That became Dartmouth.
Brown.
Brown,
Came
right.
to Brown.
Brown.
And by the way, I have a great story about this. Baseball. I'm playing baseball, and when you play baseball in Florida, especially if you play in JUCOs back in the 80s, junior college. A lot of the teams, the Division I schools would come down, and our JUCOs were stronger than most Division I schools because, like,
Played year round.
if you could spell cat, you were allowed to play, and sometimes they give you the C and the T. So, and I'm telling you, I had an amazing junior college baseball team my first 2 years of college, but if it was a brain bowl,
Yeah.
dead last. I mean, these guys. They were great baseball players. No, you don't want them solving the world's problems. But we would play these guys. We played Harvard. We played Princeton. We played Brown. Never lost to an Ivy League team. We destroyed them. All right, but the one memory I have about Brown is, you know how like each team before the game you're stretching along your own baseline there. We were in the third base dugout, so we were on the third base line. We look over on the first base line, and their uniforms are dark brown pants on dark brown shirts. All right, it's still cool enough that you can get away with it in Florida. It was like in late February, March. But it looked like 25 piles of poop stretching. And anytime we played a Division I school, we were hyped for it. We wanted to beat them because we're just a little JUCO. I think they stopped the game in the third or fourth inning
Mercy rule.
of a baseball. No, we were like up like 20.
Yeah, mercy rule.
Yeah, and these guys are probably great CEOs right now that I'm talking about, but Brown could be the worst college baseball team I ever played against.
They couldn't hit the curve.
Oh, yeah. They could explain it. They could tell you the apex of the parabola of the pitch, but they couldn't hit it.
When Harvard started, it was actually called New College. And it didn't become Harvard until a guy by the name of John Harvard gave half of his fortune and 320 volumes of a scholarly library to Harvard. And that's when they changed the name to Harvard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, New
All right.
College.
And we're talking a lot of Ivy League stuff.
Well,
I never gave my second word origin.
Oh,
I like this. You talk.
Oops.
Well, it's okay.
No,
It's okay. We're talking Ivy League schools.
He waited.
All right, we're talking Ivy League schools. I actually held it, but I held it longer than I forgot, and I didn't go back to it. All right, my second word origin is nerd.
Oh,
All right. Ivy League schools, you think of, they're a bunch of nerds. All right. Blake, do you have any idea where the word nerd came from?
No, I do not, but I'm kind of scared to.
Blake, would you consider yourself a nerd?
Yes.
Lenny, would you consider yourself a nerd?
Yes.
I have nerd qualities,
Right.
but I don't necessarily. I flow in and out of my nerdiness.
You're basically like a hybrid.
Yeah,
Right.
I flow in and out of my nerdiness. All right. So the word nerd came into play in 1950 by one of my favorite authors. Could be to me, possibly the greatest author of all time. Blake, do you know who that is?
Ayn Rand?
Was that?
No, Ayn Rand?
No. Better. We have more artwork from this.
Oh, Dr. Seuss.
Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss. And it appeared in If I Ran a Zoo. Okay? And it became known as a person of intellect who was socially awkward. You know, this, in If I Ran a Zoo, it was about a little kid who collected insects. If I remember right, I think that's what it was.
I think so, but have you mentioned like how much of a Dr. Seuss fanatics we are as a family?
We were pretty nuts. Yeah, at one point we had the largest private Dr. Seuss art collection in the Southeast.
Nice.
We're really big Dr. Seuss. I love me some Dr. Seuss.
Yeah, but there's a good reason for that as well because according to my dad, my first book that I read was it Hop on Pop? Or?
It was Hop on Pop. Actually, with Blake's Asperger's, and I've told this story before, so I'm not embarrassing Blake. Am I embarrassing you, Blake, if I tell this story?
No, it's fine.
Okay. So Blake could fully read at the age of 3. I'm talking fully read at the age of 3. He read Treasure Island at the age of 3. But his first book he read was Hop on Pop, and he read it to me. And so Blake could read, but he couldn't have a conversation with you. So his nerdness started at age 3. So that's an overachiever right there.
He still is.
Yeah, he's still an overachiever. But the word nerd actually became more popular because of the TV show Happy Days. And that's what kind of escalated it into everyday conversation. Dren? Potsy Weber? When Joni had a crush on Potsy, she called him Dren, and that was nerd backwards.
Yep, the things you learn at trivia on Wednesdays.
So nerd is my word origin that goes along with all the Ivy League stuff.
Yeah.
You have any of the other Ivy League stuff?
Well, you're the one who taught me that Ivy had nothing to do with the walls, and it had to do with they started with 4 of them,
Yep.
and it was Roman numerals.
Yeah. So the Ivy League was started with 4 in that sports group. It was Yale, Harvard, Princeton, and
I think it was. Did we decide it was Dartmouth?
I think it was Dartmouth.
Yeah.
And those were the 4 teams, and the Roman numeral for 4 is a capital I, capital V, IV, and that's how it became the Ivy League because of those 4 original teams. So
Yeah, but we'll say though, but you know it's better going. You know it's better than going to one of the Ivy League schools.
Easy.
Going to one of our great partners.
Oh yeah, and it's right on time, Blake. I just looked at the clock. It's right on time, and Blake's telling us we got to talk about our sponsors. Quick run through of our sponsors: Coquina Coast Realty, commercial, residential, anything you want to do in development. Give me a call. I can help you out with that. Also, I have Walking Man Consulting that can help you out with starting businesses. And my number is 904-669-7901. Abare, Kresge and Associates. These are the best accountants in town. Don't think you can save money by doing your own taxes. You're losing every time because you don't know what you don't know. All right, Roosevelt Room. Best breakfast in town. Amazing menu. They're open for lunch and breakfast.
Do they serve green eggs and ham?
At the Roosevelt Room?
Yes.
They don't, but they have a great avocado toast that's like
Close enough.
amazing. So that's the closest they got. I mean, you can have the eggs on the side, but you got the green on the toast, so avocado toast. Best avocado toast you'll ever have. Amazing. But their event space, they can have up to 70 people in there. It's catered. You can work with them on what the menu looks like. Just a great space. Give them a call down there at the Roosevelt Room. Check them out. They're located right next to Prohibition Kitchen. Just phenomenal people. The Shelter family has done great work on what used to be St. George Street and changed the shape of that space there. The other people that have changed the space, River and Fort.
Beautiful.
Jeff and sorry, Jeff and Bob. I lost Bob's name there. It's such a hard name to remember. He spells it backwards sometimes, so it makes it confusing. What they've done at River and Fort is just change the face of the bayfront.
Yeah.
So just, I remember when Conti built the Hilton, I was like, wow, that's great. But each time somebody's come in, they've changed it for the better, and I love what's happening with our bayfront.
I think, do they have another project in the works?
They do.
I'm looking forward to this.
An Italian restaurant that's going between the Hilton and Harry's restaurant,
Yep.
right next to Harry's restaurant. So you see that fenced-in area.
Yep.
Same group at River Fort is going to be doing that Italian restaurant. All right, St. Augustine Pirate Museum. And St. Augustine Pirate Museum is also a part of the Colonial Oak.
Arr.
Yeah.
See, I can do that.
Yeah. You know what a pirate's favorite letter is?
C.
That's right. You think it's R, but it's actually the C.
Well.
All right. St. Augustine Pirate Museum, they have over 800 artifacts. The Croce family brought this to us. We appreciate you guys being partners with us. Go see those. Go see them down there. Ask for Captain Meehan for a private tour. It's just you won't be upset. Another place you won't be upset. I may have drank a couple bottles of Jameson. What do you think?
You got one up on the top?
I don't know how many I have up there.
Okay.
I don't know how many. I mean, I was going there before it was Meehan's, so I've been drinking there since the inception, and I can tell you, I love their food. They have a great menu. They have food for everybody. How great are their chicken bites tenders? Like
Amazing.
what?
Amazing.
Amazing is and Blake.
Sorry. I was trying to do my best Lenny voice.
Well, you were successful because no one heard you.
Yeah, Chef Chris does a really great job, and his daily specials are really wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chef Chris is all right.
The Reuben spring rolls, so unique and so yummy. So go have a good meal at Meehan's Irish Pub. Enjoy the pub. Go outside. You're getting 3 different experiences. The outside second floor deck is amazing. Watching the boats go by, having a Jameson and ginger or whatever your drink of choice is, and just enjoy. That's a place you can truly enjoy St. Augustine.
And their house-made Irish cream for dessert is just top shelf.
Yeah, it really, really is. All right. Last but definitely not least, City Gates Spirits and St. Augustine Distilleries. We're drinking the Saint today. Is it helping the throat?
It is.
All right.
I'm getting better. I'm getting stronger.
You actually sound better.
Yeah.
And I think the Saint is healing you.
It's curative, as I said.
You've been healed.
Hallelujah.
Yeah. Hallelujah. And to Lenny's health. All right. All right. You got a lot of different stuff out there, and you have some numbers and stats that I'd like to see. What I think one of the things you said was the largest university in the world
is Indira Gandhi University in India.
Indira Gandhi University.
Got over 2 million students.
2 million students.
Yep.
Wow.
Largest university in America is UCF down the block in Orlando.
Yeah. And how many do they have? 100,000?
No, I'm thinking 160.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and they lapped for a while. It was Texas A&M, so they passed Texas A&M. The third one was the one that surprised me, though. Florida International University is the 3rd largest student population.
Okay. FIU.
FIU.
The Owls? Is that what
I
they
think
are?
so.
No, that was a Florida Atlantic.
Oh, that's Florida Atlantic. What's FIU?
I'm not sure. I'm looking at
They're like blue and silver, I think.
Panthers.
Okay.
Is their colors blue and silver?
It's more like blue, silver, and gold.
Okay.
If you ever want to send anybody up for a bet, ask him who has a larger population, Ohio State or Florida International University?
I
Because
imagine.
Ohio State's 4.
Okay, who's third?
Florida International.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so Texas A&M is still second.
2, yeah.
Okay, Texas A&M second. So it's UCF, Texas A&M, FIU, and
Ohio State.
Ohio
and then
State.
and 5 is a surprising one in itself. Liberty.
Yeah,
That doesn't surprise
that
me.
doesn't surprise
Really?
me.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise
Surprised
me.
me.
The followers
They're-
got a lot of influence.
Their online presence and they're pushed through every school or every church in the
Well, there you go.
country. So I mean, another team that we beat pretty bad, and then you felt bad when you do your handshake at the end, and they're giving you little Bible verses.
Okay.
It's okay. We beat the hell out of them.
There you
So
go.
so they had no hell left in them.
They have a surprisingly good football team.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in the conference they're in, I'm sure their baseball team is pretty good.
Actually, so I'm looking at it right here. It's actually Texas A&M's number one right now. They're at like 74K.
Oh,
And-
that's probably not including online stuff.
What's
Yeah.
what's UCF?
UCF's number 2 at 68K.
Yeah, but that's not including the online stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
Like the numbers you gave were including online. Like
I think.
Liberty's
Yeah, their campus is not that big.
Liberty's campus is, I bet they're on what do they have Liberty at?
Liberty is not on here.
Yeah, so they're online. That's including the online stuff is where I think that is. So actual visitation and people there. All right, so I'm looking over because I'm trying to cheat over here. So
This
we
is
didn't
the-
talk about MIT. What information you have on MIT?
MIT is in the 2023 rankings. It is the best college in the country, college or university.
For the money?
No, just academics and it was a number of criterion, and they ranked number 1.
Okay.
Harvard ranked number 2, Stanford 3. I'm going to go through this because I'm very proud of number 7.
Okay.
MIT, Harvard, Stanford, UCal, Berkeley, University of Chicago, University of Pennsylvania, and number 7, Go Big Red, Cornell.
Cornell.
Number 7, impress the daylights out of me.
I thought that was a toothpaste. Oh, wait, that's Colgate.
No, that's Colgate. They're over in Hamilton. Yeah, nah,
that's Colgate.
they're close.
Yeah.
Yep.
Cornell, is that a girls' school?
No, but there were girls at Cornell.
Okay. Well,
Yes, indeed.
Well, Blake and I graduated from the same school that started in 1968 as an all-girls school.
There you go.
So, and Blake, who also is employed by this school, it's grown quite a bit since I've been here and since I went there.
Yeah, they've been adding programs. They've been adding degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Tell the people.
Blake, you want to talk a little bit about Flagler? You want to brag about your school?
Yes, I guess I legally have to brag about Flagler. Maybe because otherwise, a lot of people are fans of Bollox, apparently.
Yeah. So I can tell you right now, Flagler to me, it was perfect for my personality. I small classrooms. Everybody who was in my and I was a recreation management, which later became sport management.
Right.
I stayed in my degree. I worked 23 years with St. Johns County Parks and Recreation. But I can tell you, I was in my senior year, and they had not accepted my intro to physical education and recreation as one of my. They didn't accept it from my junior college.
Okay.
So we didn't find this out until after my 4th year. I knew I had to come back for 2 classes. So I had to add this 3rd class, and I was commuting from DeLand, working at DeLand Parks and Recreation. So I was commuting on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, driving back and forth for those 3 classes to finish out in the fall of '89. Just so happens, the Parks and Recreation director comes in and talks to us, Coach Barnett, Coach Clark's class, Coach Bo Clark's class, and
Basketball coach.
Basketball coach years for Flagler, and I was working on a grant at DeLand. It was called a FERDAP grant. It was a House of Representatives grant. It was Florida Recreation Development program is what it referred out. Assistance development. And I started talking because I saw his name on the list for the beginnings of acquiring Treaty Park. Okay, so we're talking, this is fall of 89. And I started talking to him about my grant because my grant was 2 points short of his in the land. We both got our money, but I was like, okay, how'd you get this extra? Because I felt like my program was much better than his. And so he kind of looks at me and goes, are you a freshman? Because it's a freshman class. And he looks at me bewildered and he goes, are you a freshman? I said, no, sir, I have to take this class. I was graduating in like a month. And he goes, I have a job opening. And he says this in front of the class. He says, why don't you come see me? And that is how I started at Parks and Rec with St. Johns County, was in that class, that particular moment. So, I mean, flag, a lot of the stuff, there wouldn't be no Blake. There wouldn't be a lot of things in my life if it wasn't for the opportunities that Flagler gave me.
The universe,
very grateful.
The universe tends to unfold as it should.
Yeah. No, it was just a weird thing. And me and him fought like cats and dogs as when I worked for him. And he was a huge baseball fan at that time. I was coaching American Legion baseball team. I had I can't remember Blake, you remember the guy's name that played on my American Legion baseball team? He did pretty good in the bigs.
No, sorry, I don't remember. You didn't like once in a while, like you. I know you like to joke around and say like you had too much blood in your alcohol system, but then you had a lot of blood in your alcohol system. So
what is he talking about? I was throwing it to you to say the third baseman's name for the Atlanta Braves.
Oh, Chipper Jones.
Jeez, you were not paying attention to any of that conversation.
I didn't realize that you would talk about Chipper Jones. I didn't realize you would talk about Chipper Jones.
Listening to anything. You were scrolling through over there.
See?
My bad.
He's a Nepo hire. What can I tell you?
Gosh, it's hard to get into good help.
I know.
Goodness gracious, stay awake in the booth.
All right.
So I was coaching Chipper in American Legion baseball, and that's the year he got drafted, is the year I started at Parks and Rec here. So, that's like what I'm saying. It's like how everything kind of came together. But in my research today at the Historic Society, there was a Kirkside Mansion. I don't know if you know what Kirkside... Blake, do you have any idea what Kirkside Mansion was?
No.
All right, that was the home of Henry Flagler. All right?
Oh, okay.
At the end of Markland Place and Valencia is where Kirkside Mansion was, right beside the Presbyterian Church. So Kirkside Mansion, Henry passed, I think, in 1913 or something like that. But Kirkside Mansion was still bouncing around in the family and stuff like that. One of the first universities, and I didn't know this existed, in 1942 to 1949, there was University Foundation at Kirkside. It was a liberal arts school that had over 300 students that was run out of Kirkside Mansion. Right there was a school.
Coeducational?
It was coeducational.
Impressive.
Yeah. So it was right there, located there. I did not know it existed until today.
Well, wasn't it one of Henry Flagler's descendants, nephew or son-in-law, who put his money into Flagler?
Yeah, it was a Keenan.
Yeah.
The Keenan family, which was associated.
It was Mary Alice, yeah.
Yeah, and Freddie Francis, and it's not St. Francis Field. It's
Francis Field, right.
Named after Fred Francis, who paid for the block / Coquina wall around the ball field. And that's all he paid for was the wall. And the St. Augustine Saints, the minor league baseball team, played at Francis Field for years there. And so Freddie Francis, the Keenan Foundation, and all of them started Flagler College in 1968 as an all-girls school.
Right. That's why I had asked if the other one was coeducational.
Yeah. So the other school here in St. Augustine, that a lot of people don't. They really didn't know it was here because it moved out the year Flagler moved in. All right, and that was Florida Memorial College. All right, so Florida Memorial College, if you don't know where that is, it's located at the park where you have Collier Blocker Puryear Park. All right, Collier Blocker Puryear Park is the park right at the end of King Street where Holmes and King Street meet, across from the fire station right there.
Right.
That is actually still owned by Florida Memorial University.
There's a nice arch there that still says.
That was redone. That was redone
recently.
in like 2006,
Yeah,
2007.
recently, yeah.
But that park was the home of the president of the university during. And Collier was the president. The university started in 1896 in Jacksonville. It was. I'm gonna have to cheat here. It was Florida Baptist Academy, okay? And then it shifted to Florida Nature and Industrial College, all right? And then it didn't change to Florida Memorial until much later, until like the 1950s. But Florida Memorial College started in 1916 at that campus. There was 120 acres over there at that campus. Right now, still owned today by Florida Memorial. That's where the 312 extension is going to go through outside of Holmes. Holmes splits all the properties that were there. But that university existed from 1916 to 1968 on that site before they moved. They still are in existence until they moved to North Miami.
Yeah, but what's it called today? Because it had a name change.
Florida Memorial University.
Okay.
So and they were in the same conference as Flagler when I was going to Flagler when it was in the IA. But Collier was president of the school from 1896 to 1941. All right, Miss Blocker, Collier Blocker Puryear. Miss Blocker was vice president for almost 60 years. She's also the main fundraiser of the entire college and university, and she passed away in 1944. Puryear took over after Collier. Puryear was a huge impact in St. Augustine because St. Augustine, during all the civil rights unrest,
Turmoil. Okay.
unrest in St. Augustine, Puryear refused to allow his staff or students to participate. If you got caught, you got expelled because he felt like it was a dangerous, and it was a dangerous situation. And
Very much so.
it wasn't like he didn't believe in the cause,
Right.
but his job was to protect other
Right.
people's children. And Puryear made a very controversial decision that he put on all his students, saying, if you're there, I'm going to expel you. He did have to expel a couple students. Later, they got to come back in. But he had to expel a couple students to show them he was standing by his word. And I don't know how many it could have protected, or if he doesn't put that into play.
Right.
And my friend Stetson actually was working at the university in '64, and he because the KKK was there, he had to go in disguise anyway. And I don't know if you know Stetson. He was like 5'4", 5'5". He was a small guy.
My kind of guy.
Yeah, you and I can relate. He's a guy you and I can post up in basketball. Okay, that means he's not a very tall guy.
Right.
But he would go in disguise because he was still in that time period, even though he wrote the Klan Unmasked 25 years earlier, or 20 years earlier, he was still wanted by the KKK. Even to the day he died, he was wanted by the KKK.
Sure. Yeah.
So, but Florida Memorial University moved out in '68. That exact same year is the same year Flagler moved in. All right, there's another university here in St. Augustine. Some people don't even know about this university.
University of St. Augustine.
University of St. Augustine.
And they're expanding.
Yes, well, they bought a new. They did not. The original owner owns the campus they're at now. Mr. Parrish, Stanley Paris. He still owns the property that they're at. The university then bought what's the St. Augustine record,
Right.
and they're moving to that. But I didn't realize how long University of St. Augustine's been with us. They've been here since 1997. There's one in San Diego. There's three or four of them now, and they're a physical therapy school.
Graduate program, I believe.
Graduate program.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. What other educational stuff do you have for us over there?
Well, it's interesting because we spend a lot of time on colleges and universities. We haven't done anything about public education. But I gave Blake a couple of things that I found interesting as far as public education is concerned. First public school in the United States was Boston.
The Boston Latin School.
Yeah. Go ahead. And how many signers of Declaration of Independence went there?
There have been 5 signers of the Declaration of Independence. Do you want to make this like a little trivia game?
Well, how much and who are they?
Oh, Dad, do you want to guess?
There you go.
Okay. What are
So you have to
5 signers of the Declaration of Independence that
Yes.
were
Went to the Boston Latin School, the first
Boston
public
Latin
school in America.
All right, because it's Boston, I got to say it's the Adams guys. So I'm going to say Samuel Adams and John Adams.
1 for 2.
Okay,
Okay.
John wasn't one of them.
Correct.
Sam was. All right. John Hancock.
Yep.
Okay, because he was from Massachusetts. Patrick Henry, I think, was from that area, but he did not sign. He was not at the signing of the Declaration of Independence. So
You had mentioned one of them much earlier.
Benjamin Franklin.
There you go.
The inventor of the urinated cat there.
Yes. Well,
Oh, God. Among other
let's
things.
go with bifocals.
Really?
Let's stick with bifocals.
Really?
Yeah.
And the other two, we will forgive you.
Okay. Both signers from Massachusetts. And the cool thing about the signing of the Declaration of Independence, they started north to south.
Right.
John Hancock signed it first because he was the president of the Continental Congress. Give me initials.
RP.
RP.
Oh, I would have given him the T.
Okay, I don't know. What's the RP?
Sorry, RTP.
There you go.
RTP.
Yeah. Never heard of him.
Okay, what is?
Robert Treat Payne.
Oh, Robert Payne. Okay.
right.
I know the name.
Okay, I don't.
Yeah.
And the last
And
one.
he did a lot of writings, individual writings.
Yeah,
Well, wait a second. And not Thomas Paine, though.
Okay, no.
No. Could be related.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're both a Payne.
Yep. In the window.
What's the other one?
The last one you're missing is William Hooper.
Right.
Never would have got
Yeah, that was a hard one. All right, but here's something that Lenny gave me on his note card. Another trivia for you. There have only been 5 presidents that have been officially teachers. But I'll give you a hint. George Washington's not one of them, and anything above Nixon, not a teacher.
Okay, none of those guys
Wow.
were teachers. All right.
Really rounded it out for you.
So I can if I name 3, am I successful?
Yes.
Sure.
Let's go with Coolidge,
No.
No.
Woodrow Wilson,
No.
president of Princeton wasn't one of them. I'm befuddled because I thought that was like a slam dunk. I thought that was 100% a slam dunk. I'm going to go with. So there was no one before Nixon. Are you saying
So
No one after Nixon.
no
no
one
one after Nixon? So I'm going to go LBJ.
Yep.
Just because you put it in that order, that was your stopping point. Is why I'm going to go there.
LBJ went to a teacher's college. When he came out, he taught a Hispanic class.
When he came out of the Navy.
Well, after he graduated teacher's college, yeah.
Okay.
And he taught a Hispanic class in Coquina, Texas. And LBJ, as part of his Great Society, passed the Elementary and Secondary Ed Act in 1965.
Well, it was Taft a teacher of law.
No.
No.
Gosh. Okay, you got to help me out.
All right. So who was the next guy after the first one?
The next guy after the first one.
He didn't go to, I'll tell you this. He did not go to Boston
After-
Boston Latin.
after Calvin Coolidge.
No. after.
The first one.
This is the Adams that didn't go to
Who's number
Boston
two?
Latin.
Oh, after
John Adams.
John Adams.
And John Adams was a huge supporter of public education.
Wow, by the way, you're talking in complete code. You mean after the first president? I thought you
Yes.
meant the first.
That would have been.
Jeez.
All right.
Okay,
All right.
Yeah, if you'd have put it that way, it makes it very easy. John Adams.
All right. All right. So here's another hint for you. So this president is not confirmed to like lasagna, but this orange cat does.
Okay, Garfield.
Yep.
One of our Jameses, 6 Jameses.
Yeah.
So,
Got that one.
guy who died of sepsis, even though he had a bullet still in him.
And the other one is everybody's milk toast.
Everybody's milk toast. I don't know that.
Millard Fillmore.
Fillmore? Never would have got that.
Right.
Never would have got that. What was he, number 11? What president was Fillmore? In the comments, they'll tell us.
All right.
Okay, good. I'm
All
sorry.
right. All right. And then the last one. What's the most populated yet boring city in Ohio?
Okay, read it one more time.
What's the most populated yet boring city in Ohio?
Most populated yet boring city?
In Ohio.
Columbus.
Yeah, I was going to say, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is there, Blake, so seriously.
They
That's
have the
Cleveland.
Browns, so
That's
it
Cleveland.
evens out.
Yes. And that was what he was trying to
Grover
get.
Cle- Oh, you're trying to get to Grover.
Yeah, he
Cle-
wasn't-
By the way, your hints suck.
Exactly.
I know. I'm
He was
sorry.
not helping you.
You could have went the president who was president, wasn't president, and was
There you
president.
go.
I would have got that. Or the president who married his best friend's daughter while in office, even though he was considered her legal guardian. That's Grover Cleveland. So,
But for public education in America.
Cleveland is not the most populated city in Ohio. Columbus is.
Okay. But most people know about Cleveland
And you
more
can
than
add Ohio
Columbus.
State into that ad. Right.
Yeah. Hold on, I got to sneeze.
God bless.
Woo! I got another one coming, I'm sure.
All right.
All right.
John Adams, who was a teacher for a while, was a huge proponent of public education.
Yes.
And he thought that it was very important. He thought it should be for every class of society. It should not be elitist at all. And he also thought it should be at the public expense.
Yeah.
So he was a firm believer in public education. And that's pretty impressive back then.
Adams missed the most days from being away from the White House than any other president per percentage.
Really?
Yeah. And he's the only one that lived above a tavern while being president. He was waiting.
Well, that's convenient.
He was waiting for the White House to be done in Washington, D.C., and he rented a space above the tavern as president. He was above a bar as president. So, but his letters to Abigail are just absolutely amazing. Did you see the John Adams
With,
Giamatti? Yeah, Bartlett's kid.
Yep.
So, it's really done well. Really done well. You know what? We're at the end. You still somewhat have a voice. Guys, we appreciate you guys watching us tonight. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you laughed a little bit. We love doing this. If you would, to keep us going, go support our sponsors. Tell them how much this show actually gets you in the room.
Right.
And it really, really helps us out a lot because our sponsors are amazing, letting us do this, and this is a lot of fun for us. Lenny, I appreciate you showing up. I know you weren't feeling great. I really do.
I enjoy this. I learn, I laugh.
Yeah.
So I have a good time being here. I really do.
Blake, you got any shout-outs you want to throw?
I love you, Dad.
Love you, buddy. Love you. Your hints still suck, but I do love you.
They do. They really do.
All right. This is Bollox Talks and Tangents. We appreciate you guys. Hit that share button and
Tell your friends
in the comments. So, cheers.